Good day, this is Ray. Today is Saturday, November 8th, 2025. For me, another day of learning and growing. Hope that you, your family, friends, and loved ones are doing well and staying safe. So, I am at my new place. I've been here now. This is the fifth time. I moved in last weekend. And last weekend was a bear. So, long story short, the night before the move, I knew that physically I wasn't going to be able to do much. And so I called the movers. It was actually either that night or early that morning to let them know that they needed to bring some extra boxes because I couldn't finish packing. And there was actually a lot that I couldn't pack, and I didn't realize that until they got there. But they arrived Saturday morning. I want to say it was around 9 o'clock, 8 to 9 o'clock. And it was a crew of four. They brought as many boxes as they could and sat down and gave me an estimate of how much the move was going to cost. I knew beforehand what it was going to be, but they needed to finalize because of the extra boxes and time that was going to be needed. So anyway, they were initially scheduled for 4 hours to get everything packed. It took them about 7 hours to get everything packed. So I said, okay, I know this stuff is going to be moved to my new place, which is about 140 miles from where I currently live. So I said, okay, let me just go ahead and drive over to my new apartment and at least be ready for them to show up the next day. So I drove to my new place. It took me 3 hours. There was a lot of traffic. There was a bad accident that happened to get here, and brought in some of the things that I brought with me. It was very few things I brought with me: medications and some clothes and a few, computer and stuff. But didn't have a bed, so I came in, and fortunately, I did bring some pillows. Has pillows laid out on those and stuff on the floor. So it was a little bit painful, but I did okay. The next day, early morning, I got a call around 8:15. I think it was exactly 8:15 in the morning, and the driver said, the mover said, "Hey, we'll be there in about 15 minutes." I'm like, "Whoa, okay." So they must have left real early, just be getting here this soon. So wasn't fully ready for them to show up, but was glad that they did. And when I talked to him, he said, "Yeah, we came in time. We left the same time you did, which is 4 o'clock on Saturday, and got there around 7:30, and they stayed in a hotel." And I said, "Yeah, I probably should have did the same, considering I had to sleep on the floor." But anyway, there were two people this time to get everything unpacked. It took them about 4.5 hours, and then they were back on the road. And then I looked around at what I had to deal with, and I said, "Oh boy, this is going to be a nightmare." Didn't really have a lot of time to think about it though, because I said I need to find some things. I need to find my belts. I need to find my socks. I need to unpack a few things to get ready because I'm going to be, working in the old city that I lived in, but living here 3 days a week for the next few months. And if you haven't seen my previous videos, I'm in the process of selling my home. So, and I'm the reason I'm moving here is job, not relocation, but promotion. So, anyway, yeah. So I had to find a few things. I had to dig through boxes and boxes of stuff to find it. Unfortunately, I did find my socks, found my belts, and then I said, okay, I had Sunday afternoon and Monday to do what I needed to do. Now, mind you, I'm a very organized person. So what I said I was going to do is get my packing done for the following week, which means I had to have business attire, underwear, stuff you're going to need for an extended trip. So I booked the extended stay, got that done. But Monday, I forget exactly what I did in first part of the morning. I might have unpacked the box or two, but I decided to go get my temporary driver's license and my license plate. So went to the DMV, like when they opened, like I forget, maybe 8 in the morning. I'm sorry, no, it wasn't that early. It was like 9. Yeah, I think it was 9 o'clock that they opened. Went to the DMV, brought everything needed, at least for my driver's license, but I didn't bring everything I needed for my tag. So I found out what I needed and said, okay, I'll go back later and get it. Didn't take me long. I was able to get my temporary driver's license, and then they told me that I had to go pay property taxes. I was like, well, I don't own a property, but okay, this might be something with the state. I don't know. They said, yeah, you have to pay property taxes in order to get your tag. So I said, here's the location. And I needed to go back to my apartment to get my registration. So, my title. And so I went home, got my title, and then went to the tax commissioner's office to pay taxes. That's a little strange. You have to go to the second floor to get your tax bill, and then you have to go downstairs to pay your tax bill. I said, okay, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Why? So I went upstairs. It took like 5 minutes to get my tax bill. Went downstairs. It took me an hour to get through the line to be able to finally pay my taxes. It was a lot. Yeah, I paid $300 for it. I'm like, okay, welcome to my new home. I'm paying property taxes. I don't even own a property, but that's how things work here, and that's okay. Went back to the DMV to get my tag, and I got that done. So Monday, I was able to take care of all that. I didn't pack that night, but I woke up early morning and packed the suitcase to hit the road to go to my old location to work for the rest of the week. But I only worked Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Took a sick day on Friday. I was in significant pain. Went back and decided to take my higher dose of steroids for the next few days. But everything worked out, and I see this is doable. I'll be better prepared this week than I was last week because I didn't have much time to get things done. And now I do. Now I know what to expect, what to bring, what not to bring, and that the trip there and back isn't too bad. It's definitely not something I can do in one day, in each day. Like leave it and go to work. It's just not feasible. But at least doing it twice a week is perfectly fine. Next week I'm going to have painters over my townhome, and they're going to paint and patch, paint the whole place, and then do some patchwork. But also do some minor repairs, and then I'm looking at also getting some carpet on the bottom floor. But we're going to put the place on the market. I'm hoping, if not the end of next week, the beginning of the following week. And then, I think it's going to be reasonably priced considering the area that I live in, and then we can go ahead and move along because I want to get the place sold. I want to be able to have that peace of mind of knowing that I won't have both a mortgage and rent to pay in January. Okay, so it's like 5:20 in the morning on Saturday. I have to get ready to go pick up some groceries. I took my clothes to the dry cleaners yesterday, so I won't have to worry about picking those up till Monday. And here I am in a new area, having to make sure I stick to my budget. I'm still on track to pay off my last personal loan. I need to find my my vlogging computer because I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do the numbers the way I have been at the end of the month. I mean, I've got to the end of the month, but I'm telling you, I've got so many back boxes to go through that I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it by then. We'll see. Anyway, if you made it this far, feel free to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. Post my videos. You can find me at youtube.com/adding down to my budget, indigestion. And as always, thank you for watching. Hope you all take care.